Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Witchy Weed Wednesday. We're here in the woods with this lovely little carpet of American Mandrake, or Podophyllum peltatum. These guys are characteristic plants of wet undergrowth of shady forests, and they have these two really pretty circular umbrella-shaped leaves, and in the middle is this guy, this pretty little white flower. Now these get swapped up with these folks, who, if you're looking at characteristics, are obviously very different. This is Trillium grandiflorum, or grand white trillium. They fade to pink as they get older, and they're at the end of their blooming cycle, obviously. But you can see here, these guys characteristically have 3 leaves, and the flowers grow above the leaf structures, not beneath. So that will help you with any confusion about getting those swapped at all. It's important to note that all parts of American Mandrake, or mayapple is another common name used for it, are poisonous. Even this pretty little green part that is going to grow into the mayapple fruit, it's briefly edible once it's matured. The only problem is even the seeds are poisonous, and it's really not that great. And so the idea of risking your health, short of being starving, for eating one of those doesn't really add up for me, but you know, you're free to choose what you need to do. So, like I said, these are completely poisonous from leaf to root and everything in between. They are not the European mandrake or mandragora that you might be hoping for when thinking of the word mandrake. If you try to pull the roots out from underneath these guys, they're rhizomous, so they grow together in clusters like irises or lilies do, minus the bulb part. So you're just gonna get like a long noodle with some root sticking off of it. You're not going to get that human-shaped poppet-esque thing that you might be hoping for trying to dig up a mandrake plant. And a lot of the folklore around these guys centers off of, you know, women who put it underneath their bed become pregnant, or these things. It's a leap off of the European mandragora folklore. And so, since they're different plant families, I wouldn't, even based on the common name, want to give them the same attributes. But you're welcome to experiment with that in your own practice if it suits you better. I do find that, spooky speaking, or for witchy stuff, if you will, that American Mandrake is really good at keeping things hidden. And so if you have something you need to mourn or deal with or hide that you don't want to be found, it is not a bad idea to come out with said thing, or a testimony of said thing, maybe written on some papers that is biodegradable and will therefore eventually fade of its own volition, and come with an offering of, say, tobacco or coffee grounds or mugwort, or all those mixed together even, and offer that at the foot of mayapple or American Mandrake, and ask it to make a safe space to hide these things that need to be remain hidden. So family-wise, these folks, even though they have round leaves, which makes you want to group them with these folks, who are geraniums. Geraniums have 5-petaled flowers. So does this guy. But geraniums keep their flowers up above their leaf structures, whereas mayapple's flowers are distinctly hidden underneath of its leaves. This actually shares a family. As far as medicinally speaking, there's not a lot of great things to say about American Mandrake because of the amount of toxicity that it has. Some people will say to use it as a purgative tea, but there are a lot of other plants that have less of a risk of the side effect being death that you can use if you need to purge something. And so I strongly do not recommend using this plant for that purpose. And again, if you use anything medicinally ever at all, always use it in team with your doctor and underneath the care of a trained naturalist. It doesn't have a lot of really great folklore about its medicinal purposes that can be used safely. That wouldn't be best substituted with another plant that has less toxic side effects. And so always use caution when handling this plant. It's not a bad one to approach with gloves. It's important to be really careful that it does not get into your mouth or into any mucous membranes such as your eyes when you're out here collecting or handling it. Most of the magical purposes you'll want to use it for do not require that it be harvested or taken out of the ground in any way, so just use caution when interacting with it. And there's a lot of potential for it to be able to help you with some really cool things, but again, it is toxic, so please approach with caution. That's by and large most of what I would like you all to know about American Mandrake. I hope that was helpful, and as always, if you want to support me, find me on Patreon at patreon.com/witchyweeds. And if you have any questions, find me in the comments, and I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.